food markets in Ecuador. We'll call today viewer's choice because I got a question. This is going back to early December. We are now January 29th, 2025. So in December, I got a comment/question. Love your channel, great information. Flattery will get you everywhere. Can you speak to access to food in the future? I assume fruits and vegetables are easy enough to find. How about meat? So that will be the topic today, or I guess more correctly, that led me to the topic today. Like, how am I going to show you access to fruits and vegetables, aside from taking you to a market, right? And where I was before, I was out in the Campo and in these like tiny towns and things. They didn't really have markets. So in the last couple months, I've been to a couple bigger cities, and I managed to get some videos and shots of the markets. And the second half of this video will be a montage of markets in PortoViejo near the coast and in Cuenca, which Cuenca is the most popular expat city in all of South America. So a few things about food and I guess access to food. Something I've been told multiple times by friends down here, Ecuadorians, is that you will never starve in Ecuador. That's a hugely reassuring thing. I'm not worried about that as an expat, but when you see people, like the average monthly wage here, officially in 2025 is $470 US. Obviously, you couldn't live on that. That would be, what is that, like 780-ish Canadian dollars? Like, where are you gonna live on that? In Canada or in the States, right? You're not. You can't even pay rent for that. But all the expenses are relative to that monthly wage. So food down here, super fresh and super cheap, especially relative to North America, let's say, right? So you won't starve, which means people have access to food, usually through the markets, also supermarkets in some of the bigger city centers. No Walmarts down here, but similar chains, usually smaller. The bigger cities, you'll have something that would be equivalent to a super Walmart, let's say. Markets down here, it's a foundational element of the culture. People don't go to the markets just to shop. They go there to socialize. The market basically, and there's different kinds of markets, but food markets specifically, are a place where it's basically the heart and soul of the community. Also the information center, it's where people go to socialize as much as they do to buy the food they're gonna need for the next week or days or whatever. So people will go there, you'll see people hanging out and talking, not sitting down over a meal, but just hanging out in the market, talking to each other or outside the market. And how's your family, how's your parents, what's going on, and they actually wanna know. Right? It's not small talk. And the experience of shopping down here is also much different. People are way more relaxed. You'll see in the pictures, it'll give you an idea of what the market is, like just a rainbow of fruits and vegetables behind the vendors. Also places like butcher shops, I guess, where you can buy meat or fish or whatever. The layout of the market, especially the bigger ones that are on multi-levels, the top floor will be the food court where you can buy fixed breakfasts and fixed lunch. So a desayuno for breakfast or almuerzo for lunch. I've never been there when they're serving breakfast. I usually wait for the crush to go away and then I go later in the day, later in the morning, and have lunch there. And a set lunch will be a soup, a main and a drink, and sometimes a dessert. $2.50 to $3, usually sometimes a little less depending where you are. And I literally can't eat anything for at least 4 or 5 hours after that. Super filling, right? And sometimes I don't eat anything for the rest of the day after that. So third floor, the food court. Second floor, fruits and vegetables. And if it's a big market, fruits and vegetables on this side. And then clothing, housewares, shoes, different things like proper stores, self-contained stores on this side. And the main floor, you'll find fruits and vegetables, grains, sometimes stores selling non-food items, and a lot of animal protein, so meats and fish. The markets are the foundational or a foundational element of the culture. And a story to illustrate that comes from a book called Touching the Jaguar by John Perkins, who, among other things, is an author, and he spent a lot of time in the Amazon with the tribes and communities there. And in touching the jaguar, I believe it was one of the Ashwar was with him in the States, and he wanted to see a market in, the first world. Just what are your markets like? So I'm pretty sure they took him to a Walmart. Guy from the Amazon took him to the Walmart, right, to see the market, and he was just baffled, right? Can you imagine? And he had two observations. One was after walking around being in Walmart for a while, and it's like he asked Perkins like, why aren't people talking to each other? Right? Why is there no interaction between people? And yeah, I guess that's true, right? And when you go to a market in Latin America, I haven't been in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, like the closest approximation we have in North America would be a farmer's market. Right? It's a similar kind of thing. But the ones that I've been to, at least in Canada, they're there for maybe one day a week, right? These ones are there every day, all day. So it's a different experience, and you'll see people more relaxed at a farmer's market than at a supermarket. My goal going shopping for anything but food, which I can't get out of, when I was living in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, would be get in the car and deal with traffic and parking, try to get in and out of the supermarket as fast as I could, and then deal with traffic on the way home, and hopefully not have to do that, for at least another week. Or if there was a market that I went to, like a proper Asian market that I went to, and I could ride my bike there when the weather was nice, right? But again, I'm not there to socialize. I just want to get in and out. And this guy's experience was, you go to the market to find out about your friends, about their families, about what's going on in the community. So the heart and soul of the community and the information center. It's as much about socializing as it is about buying the food you need for the next week. And the other observation he had, I think it was bar soap. So he was standing in front of a huge shelf filled with all kinds of different brands of bars of soap. And he couldn't figure out why do you have so many different versions of the same thing? And how do people know which one to buy? Do you buy the one in the red package or the orange package or the green package? Why? Right? Where he was from, they've got 20 different kinds of bar soap. There's maybe one or two, but it's a higher quality and it does what you need it to do, and that's it. So it was culture shock for him going to a Walmart, as I can't even imagine coming out of the Amazon and going to a Walmart. That would be just mind-bending. Shooting inside today, by the way, because I'm in Loja this week, a little south in the country, and it is raining. It has been raining every day. Not a lot, just enough to be annoying. Not complaining, because we just had a record-breaking drought. Rain is very much needed, but for that reason I'm inside and I'm not shooting outside. As to meat, not a staple in the diets down here. I spent 6 months up in the Campo on various farms. Sometimes I would have my own place with a kitchen and everything in it. Sometimes we would share meals. Generally meat, you would have meat once or twice a week in a more traditional Ecuadorian home, I guess, farm. Not the kind of thing they're eating every day, and also not huge amounts of it. So they're not eating huge, porterhouse steaks or anything like that. Easy to find it in the markets, in the supermarkets. If you're in the market, I have one shot at the end of this video in the photo montage of the different markets that I captured the images for, where I went in, and you'll see actual meat, right? So it's not like you go in the supermarket and here's this red dye number whatever and this product in a styrofoam container with saran wrap over the top, totally neutered and very civilized, right? There it's chicken livers and hearts are over here and ground beef is here and different cuts of meat, and there'll be stainless steel hooks hanging from some kind of support with chunks of formerly living things on them, and you can buy that whole thing or a part of that thing and they'll put it on the scale and give you whatever you want. And if you want ground beef, they can grind the beef right in front of you so you can see super fresh. Also, with regards to prices, there's no price stickers on anything, the foods in the market. They know how much stuff costs. I'll go, I want how many apples can I get for $1, right? Or bananas, or onions. And usually I'm looking at 50-cent increments because $1 is too much. And I made that mistake at a market up in the mountains in Rwanda. I said, oh yeah, give me $1 worth of bananas. 17 bananas for one guy. 17, right? What am I going to do with 17 bananas before they turn? So I didn't make that mistake again, right? 50 cents worth of bananas is plenty. And if you're out in some of these other areas, you can buy the entire head, right? Not just a bunch, like a head of bananas for $1 or $2. If I go to the market and I spend $10 or more on fruits and vegetables and meat and things I need for the week, I'm taking a cab home, or I'm making multiple pit stops on the way because I literally cannot carry it. It's too much. So 10 US dollars, and call it 14 Canadian dollars, wherever you are, likely North America, think how much that would buy you in whatever, Kroger's or Dominion or Super Walmart, right? $10 US, 14 Canadian. In the photo montage, there's a bunch of pictures of markets in PortoViejo, which is closer to the coast, and a couple markets in Cuenca, just to give you the idea of, and these are bigger cities, so they have bigger markets. And when you walk in, there's usually a sign or a series of signs, sometimes color-coded. The food court is over here, and this kind of food is here, and that kind of food is there, so you know that it's not like you walk into a mall and like you are here with the map, right? It's not that kind of thing. Dope. Easy to get around the market. If you ask, for me, it's nuts. Trying to find a place that sells nuts is a tall order down here, and especially anything aside from peanuts. You can find them, and mixed nuts, like, whew, good luck. Bigger markets, you'll find them. $5 for a pound of mixed nuts, 5 US. Food here is a big deal, as it is everywhere. Access to it is really pretty easy and inexpensive and fresh, like what do they call it, like field to table, that kind of thing. And the stuff in the market, you can see, is this fresh, is this not fresh? I'll just cut to the video montage, which was a treat, capturing those images, so I hope you appreciate the time and effort. And one more thing, a call back to Flattery. This one kills me. Every time I'm in the market, doesn't matter where, right? I'll be just kind of walking around. I'm, the solo gringo. I stand out because obviously I'm a lot taller than most of the people here. And I'll always hear, hey, jovencito, jovencito. I'm looking around. Joven means young. Jovencito, the ITO they add to all the words. That's been throughout Latin America. That's not just Ecuador. So cafe is coffee. Cafecito. ¿Quieres un cafecito? It's like, do you want a coffee? They don't call it a cafe, un cafecito, right? Perro, dog, perito, dog. It's a term of endearment. So jovencito is most like my young friend, something like that. And they've said it to me enough times, I'd be looking around for a young guy, like, I'm north of 50. I don't think of myself as a young guy anymore. Unless I'm around people that are in their 80s and 90s, and like, yeah, okay, relatively I'm young, but I don't think of myself as young. So it's kind of their, or they'll call you, oh, mire, my king, right? And they're like, okay. So flattery is a big part of the dance, I guess, with some of the vendors. It's really charming in a way. It's not, some sleazy sales move. They actually mean it, and they're sincere, and it took a while to get used to, because again, like north of 50, nobody's calling me young anymore. So with that, I will say stay tuned for the photo montage at the end of the video. Watch out for the elevator. I'll just say that. It looks like a Salvador Dali painting. It's fantastic. You could never do this in the West, by the way. The thing is so colorful. Like, there's so many rules and regulations around building codes, let alone elevators. There is no way you could have an elevator that was, that looked like an acid trip, let's say. You'll understand when you see it. With that, I will say, happy trails. Thanks for stopping by. If you got value from the video, please like, share, subscribe. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. And happy trails. See you out on the road.
I don't wanna be too much, but I just wanna feel your love. I just wanna know how you feel, baby. I just wanna go where your love take me. I'm losing my sanity, you taking me under. For you I surrender, you're making me land on other side of gravity. Boy, you got me under, boy, you got me fond of. Yeah, boy, you got me in love. I can't ignore it, I wish you noticed me. I wish you knew the emotion provoked in me. Let me live again, I'll take no more from you. You got my soul.